According to General Hospital spoilers, Drew Cain has been acting recklessly lately, and if all of his lies and plots are uncovered, he may lose not only Willow Tate Corinthos, but also his political career. With that said, might he lose custody of his daughter, Scout Quartermaine? Scout Quartermaine belongs with her brothers. General Hospital spoilers remind fans that Scout's many family relatives in Port Charles would want to have custody of her. From Alexis Davis to Monica Quartermaine, Dante Falconeri would gladly step in as Scout's guardian, as would Jason Morgan, to ensure she lived with her brothers, Rocco Falconeri and Danny Morgan. Having said that, Drew hasn't been putting his kid first in anything he's done recently, and has been far more focused on retribution and romance than parenting. Could he lose his daughter if all of his lies are revealed? Who would stand up and take Scout out of his custody? Can Monica Quartermaine file an emergency petition? Monica is still living in Port Charles, despite the death of her beloved Leslie Charleson. It's unclear when the program will mention the actress's death. Are the GH writers waiting for a major storyline to conclude before doing so? Drew blamed Tracy Quartermaine for his ketamine use despite knowing that Portia Robinson and Nina Reeves were responsible. Framing someone for a crime is a serious offense, and Tracy would not hesitate to prosecute him if she had proof. In retribution, might Monica submit an emergency petition for custody? If she does, she may win, and Alexis may support her in this. The world of General Hospital is no stranger to high-stakes drama, and Drew Cain's current situation demonstrates that even the most seemingly stable lives may disintegrate in an instant. According to recent revelations, Drew's carefully built facade is set to shatter, revealing a network of scams with disastrous consequences, particularly his custody of Scout. For a man who has struggled valiantly to be a present and loving parent, the prospect of losing his daughter is inconceivable. But as the truth comes out, Drew may discover that his past acts have finally caught up with him, jeopardizing his relationship with Scout. Drew's journey as a father has never been simple. Since his return to Port Charles, he has been desperate to make up for missed time with Scout, the daughter he shares with Elizabeth Weber. Despite the difficulties of co-parenting and the complexities of their shared background, Drew has always emphasized Scout's well-being. But his good intentions may not be enough to protect him from the consequences of his recent decisions. Rumors circulate that Drew's commercial operations, and potentially even his personal alliances, have violated ethical and legal boundaries. If these charges are proven accurate, they may present him as an unfit parent in the eyes of the court, providing Elizabeth or another interested party the ammunition to dispute his custody rights. When Elizabeth's involvement is taken into account, the situation becomes even more explosive. Elizabeth, Scout's mother, has always been extremely protective of her children, and she is no stranger to confronting those who threaten family stability. If she realizes that Drew's actions could endanger or disrupt Scout's life, she may feel obligated to take dramatic measures to protect her. Elizabeth's tangled history with Drew, which includes love, sorrow, and betrayal, adds to the tension in the situation. Will she struggle to limit Drew's access to Scout, or will she try to guide him through the storm before it's too late? Her decision could forever change their co-parenting relationship. Then there's the wild card, Carly Corinthos. Carly has been one of Drew's most trusted allies, but her participation in his plans could backfire horribly. If Carly's fingerprints are found on any of Drew's questionable decisions, she may be dragged into the custody battle, complicated matters even more. Carly's reputation in Port Charles is already polarizing, and her involvement with Drew's problems may only exacerbate the situation. Worse, if Carly's influence jeopardizes Scout's safety or well-being, Elizabeth may use this as leverage in court. Scout finds herself caught in the thick of Carly and Elizabeth's possible fight. Legal disputes over custody are never clean, and this one looks to be exceptionally ugly. Drew will most likely face extreme scrutiny about his parenting abilities, with every part of his life scrutinized, from his corporate ethics to his personal relationships. Past mistakes, such as his stint as a fugitive and his role in many Port Charles scandals, could be used as evidence against him. Even his military career, which was once a source of pride, may be interpreted to imply instability or recklessness. The courtroom drama will be dramatic, with both parties pushing out all the ends to prove their points. Drew's best chance may lay in demonstrating that, despite his failings, he is a caring father who prioritizes Scout. But will this be enough to sway the judge? Meanwhile, Scout is the innocent sufferer in all of this. She is too little to fully comprehend the legal and emotional conflict that surrounds her. Yet she is smart enough to perceive the strain between her parents. The turbulence and unpredictability might overwhelm her, leaving her bewildered and heartbroken. Drew's greatest worry isn't losing custody. It's that Scout will grow up feeling abandoned or unwanted as a result of his failures. If he wants to keep their link, he must move fast and forcefully to clean up his mess before it is too late. Drew's uncovered machinations will have far-reaching consequences for everyone in Port Charles, not just him and Scout. Allies may turn against him, enemies will grab the opportunity to strike, and neutral parties will be pushed to choose sides. The custody struggle could bring in unexpected participants, including Sam McCall and Jason Morgan, each with a vested interest in the outcome. And if Drew's opponents decide to utilize Scout as a piece in a broader game, the results might be disastrous. At its heart, this narrative is about more than simply legal custody. It's about what it means to be a parent. Drew had always believed that his love for Scout is sufficient to overcome any hurdle, but the harsh reality is that love alone may not prevail in a court of law. He'll need to demonstrate that he can offer stability, safety, and a nurturing atmosphere for his kid, even as his world crumbles around him. Drew will be tested like never before in the following weeks, pushing him to confront his past, his decisions, and what he is ready to give up to keep Scout in his life. As the drama unfolds, fans will wonder if Drew can save his image and relationship with Scout, or if his mistakes will cost him the one thing he values the most. One thing is certain. The battle for Scout's future will be one of the most emotionally charged and gripping plots General Hospital has seen in years. General Hospital spoilers for Tuesday, June 10th, state that Willow Corinthos will continue under Drew Kane's influence, while Brooke Lynn Quartermain plots revenge. Christina Corinthos Davis will also have a legal plan, so here's what you should expect. For starters, Brooke Lynn will catch up with Tracy Quartermain and make an unsettling promise. She'll insist on reminding everyone not to come looking for Brooke Lynn Quartermain, but Tracy may believe she's referring to Lulu Spencer specifically. Tracy may advise against making this problem worse, especially for Giovanni Gio Palmieri. Brooke Lynn has called Marco Rios and appears to be ready to take legal action against Lulu, but Tracy may try to talk her out of it. At the gallery, Ava Jerome will issue her own warning. After Trina Robinson confides in her, Ava will make it plain where she stands. Ava will warn Trina to be cautious with that man, so she may express concerns about Drew now that Kai Taylor hasn't become so involved with him. Kai will meet with Portia Robinson in her office to address his feelings and reveal that he believes he owes her an apology. Perhaps Kai will admit to having overheard Portia and Curtis Ashford's latest dispute. Kai may apologize for eavesdropping and not recognizing the extent of conflict between Portia and Drew. Of course, Kai learned about Curtis' plan to pay Jacinda, and have her lie about Drew's conduct on the night he took the ketamine. If Curtis proceeds with that plan, Kai may believe he has no choice but to give Drew the truth. Whatever the circumstance, Portia will become frustrated and have a meltdown when she is alone. The tension of the Drew scenario will start to take its toll. Next, let's talk about Christina, who recently asked Cody Bell if he wanted to make some money. Christina will propose Cody's notion of suing someone on Tuesday's show, implying that she wants him to go after Ava in some way and collect a big reward. Willow will testify in court about being forced to file a petition for full custody. According to GH spoilers, Willow will double back on Drew and defend him against any accusations Diane Miller may bring. Of course, Diane may challenge Willow about her claim to have seen Michael Corinthos in the facility in Germany. Willow stated that Michael had refused to visit her, but Michael wrote Diane a message informing her that this had never happened. This could result in yet another courtroom conflict, but Willow may continue to ignore any red flags or suspicions about Drew. Drew, who bribed the clinic employee to pretend Michael didn't want to see Willow, will simply have to hope his cover-up holds up. Laura Collins will reconcile with Martin Gray, who makes a comeback in Tuesday's episode. Martin will provide Laura with updates on some critical news. Martin will assert that for once the law will be on his side. Martin appears to have a few strategies for exacting revenge on Tracy. Finally, General Hospital rumors predict Isaiah will receive a large offer, so we'll see if this coincides with Lucky Spencer's departure, as they'll be saying their goodbyes soon. The air in Port Charles was thick with tension. The kind that stuck to your skin like dampness before a storm. Willow sat at Charlie's pub's dimly lit bar, her fingertips tracing the rim of her untouched beverage. Drew leaned on the pool table across the room, his easy smile and confident stance attracting the attention of every lady in the room, including Willow. She despised how her heart raced when his eyes met hers, and how her breath caught when he smirked in that infuriatingly charming way. It was not intended to be like this. She wasn't allowed to feel anything for him, not after what had occurred. But Drew had a knack for getting under people's skin, and Willow was no exception. She told herself she was merely keeping an eye on him, and that her lingering stares were motivated by suspicion rather than attraction. But the truth was much more dangerous. Drew possessed an irresistible attraction, a charisma that caused even the most guarded hearts to wobble. Willow, despite her best efforts, was falling under his influence. It wasn't love, she refused to call it that, but it was something powerful, something that made her reconsider every decision she'd made since they met. Across town, Brooklyn Quartermain walked the length of her apartment, her high shoes clicking on the marble floor. The walls of her luxurious home felt like a golden cage, enclosing her in the rage she'd been harboring for months. Drew had played her for a fool, and she was not the type of woman to let betrayal go unnoticed. She'd spent weeks scheming, waiting for the right moment to strike. And now that Willow was caught in Drew's orbit, the opportunity was too good to miss. If Drew wanted to mess with people's lives, Brooklyn would make sure he knew what it was like to lose control. The trap tightens. Willow was not naive. Drew had a reputation. Whispers followed him wherever he went, full of unfulfilled promises and destroyed hearts. But there was something odd about the way he looked at her, something that made her think for a little moment that she may be an exception. That was the cruelest ploy of all, because the more she allowed herself to be drawn into his circle, the more she knew she was nothing more than a pawn in his game. Willow found herself standing outside Drew's apartment late one evening, following another of their heated chats that left her both excited and uneasy. She hadn't planned to go there. In reality, she had promised herself she wouldn't. But her feet had taken her there nevertheless, as if dragged by an unseen power. Before she could talk herself out of it, the door opened, and Drew stood there with an enigmatic expression. "I was wondering when you'd show up," he said softly, standing aside to let her in. The residence was sleek, modern, and perfectly organized, much like the man himself. Drew was meticulous in every detail, from his attire to his speech. Willow despised how much that interested her. "This is a mistake," she stated as she stepped inside. Drew smirked. "Then why are you here?" She did not have a response. Perhaps she did, but she wasn't ready to accept it. Brooklyn's move. Brooklyn had been watching, waiting. She was familiar with Drew's tendencies and weaknesses, and she knew Willow was the ideal leverage. The next morning, Willow received an anonymous envelope on her doorstep. Inside were images of Drew and another woman, their connection evident. The dates on the photos were recent. Very recent. Willow's stomach twisted. She had known, didn't she? Drew seemed too good to be true. Nonetheless, the betrayal stung deeply. What she didn't realize was that the images had been meticulously edited. Brooklyn had made certain of it. The revenge unfolds. Drew arrived up to Willow's door that night, confused, and she did not allow him a chance to talk. "I should have known better," she remarked bitterly, thrusting the images in his hands. Drew's face darkened as he flipped through them. "This isn't what it looks like." "It never is," Willow retorted. And with that, their tenuous bond was shattered. Brooklyn gazed from the shadows, a contented smile twisting her lips. Drew had taken everything from her, including her trust, pride, and sense of control. Now she had taken something from him. The game was not over. Definitely not. But for now, vengeance was delicious. She could sense the shift in the room. Some of the elder members folded their arms, doubtful. But others, especially the younger board reps, were already leaning forward. She delivered her case point by point. The absence of stable housing for LGBTQ+ children in the northeast section of Port Charles. The mounting mental health crises. The lack of preventative resources. She didn't need to exaggerate. The data spoke for themselves. And then she paused. "I'm asking for your vote to unlock $850,000 in foundation reserves for a one-year pilot phase." We can start construction this fall. Lives can change before the snow even falls. A lengthy stillness ensued, then whispers. Some dubious, others curious. Christina waited. She didn't plead. She didn't fold. By the time the vote was called, her palms were sticky with sweat. 7-4. In favor. It was done. She grinned, but not broadly. Not yet. Because she knew the reaction was coming. Not only from her family, but from the ghosts of her own self-doubt. But for now, she had one. Her way. At the deception offices, Brooke Lynn came into the main conference room without knocking. Maxie looked up surprised. Lucy followed her in, glancing between them with her signature look of, I smell drama and I want popcorn. Brooke Lynn didn't waste time. I've submitted changes to our executive org chart, she said bluntly. Effective immediately, I'll be assuming full control of our media campaigns, partnerships, and licensing negotiations. Maxie, you'll still oversee production, but I'm restructuring creative oversight. Maxie blinked. Wait, you're what? Lucy leaned back in her chair, eyes shining. This is part of the strategy we discussed, Brooke Lynn replied, cool and controlled. With deception expanding into new verticals, we need a defined voice. And right now, that voice is mine. Because of Lulu? Maxie shouted back, her tone changing. Brooke Lynn didn't flinch. Because I'm tired of apologizing for being the one who stayed behind and did the work. Lucy clasped her hands together, visibly amused. Well, I do love a bold rebrand. Is this a power grab? Maxie inquired, standing. No, Brooke Lynn answered. It's a power statement. I'm not going to wait for someone to come back and decide where I fit. I already fit. This is my seat. Maxie didn't answer quickly. She was angry but also conflicted. Because deep down she knew Brooke Lynn had earned part of it. Maybe not all. But enough. Michael received the encrypted report at 3:14 p.m. The PI had tracked the record's breach to a throwaway IP rerouted through a number of proxies, but the pattern was familiar. It wasn't Nina. It wasn't Valentine. It was someone close to him. He examined the data again, and his eyes locked on the final line. Access attempted through internal Aurora credential, flagged to Drew Kane. Michael's stomach sank. It didn't make sense. Drew wouldn't touch anything that sensitive without a reason, without warning him. Unless Drew wasn't acting alone. His pulse raced. He grabbed his coat and went for the elevators, adrenaline in full run. If someone was trying to use Wiley as leverage again, he needed answers fast. Across town, Christina sat at the bar of Charlie's with a whiskey neat in front of her. She hadn't told anyone yet about the vote passing. Not even Sunny. Part of her wanted to let the news breathe. General Hospital spoilers for the next 3 weeks, June 10th to June 27th, show that Emma Scorpio Drake makes a risky move, Ava Jerome delivers a cryptic invitation, and Sunny Corinthos and Carly Spencer face an unexpected development. Fans will say their final goodbyes to Lucky Spencer from June 10th to 13th. He traveled to town to save his sister, Lulu Spencer, but became caught up in passion and intrigue. Unfortunately, he is unfit for domesticity, and Laura Collins must bid him go. Drew Kane strikes a low blow in Michael Corinthos' custody battle with Willow Corinthos. Elsewhere, Sunny and Carly, as well as Jason Morgan, are caught off guard when Michael delivers terrible news. Along the way, expect another courtroom bombshell that will change everything. Meanwhile, Ava extends a mysterious invitation to an anonymous person. Let the games begin. Fans should expect Christina Corinthos Davis to spark more drama, possibly including her least favorite blackmailer, Ava. At the same time, Alexis Davis faces increased pressure to keep her and Christina out of prison. Thrills and chills for the week of June 16th to 20th. Willow and Michael will live with the conclusion of their court battle from June 16th to 20th. Check in to find out who wins. Meanwhile, Jason follows through on his commitment to Anna Devane to investigate into Professor Henry Hank Dalton. Hopefully, he doesn't interfere with super spy Jocelyn Jack's undercover top-secret WSB operation. Does it sound strange to discuss Joss and Anna in the same sentence, or in the same category? You bet it does. But it appears that Jocelyn and her handler Vaughn are intensifying their relationship, which thankfully may put an end to her days as an agent, a job no one believes she is capable of doing. In terms of romanticism, Carly and Jack Brennan canoodle. The week of June 23rd to 27th may reveal what Professor Dalton is up to in his lab. Leave it to Joss to go undercover, but will Jason ruin her fishing trip? Meanwhile, a jealous Emma attempts to seduce Professor Dalton. What could possibly go wrong, right? A lot of things might go wrong here, and Emma may find herself in danger. Finally, Ada Turner steps up her efforts to bring Sunny down. Do you believe this entails some clandestine flirting if all else fails? We believe the Ada and Sunny have Riz. What do you think, GH fans? The following 3 weeks in Port Charles offer explosive drama, unexpected alliances, and frightening secrets that could alter people's lives forever. Sunny and Carly's astonished reactions to Ava's latest ploy, Jason's involvement, and a high-stakes investigation threatening to bring down the Corinthos enterprise have all contributed to the rising tensions. Meanwhile, Professor Dalton's dodgy research, Jocelyn's clandestine mission, and Emma's impulsive flirtation might all end in disaster, and Ada Turner's dogged pursuit of Sunny may take a sensational turn. Sunny and Carly's disbelief. A betrayal they never saw coming. Sunny Corinthos and Carly Spencer have encountered numerous opponents over the years, but the latest threat may be the most unexpected yet. As rumors circulate of a betrayal by someone close to them, both are left reeling. Could it be a trustworthy ally? A family member? Is this all part of a wider deception? The spoilers indicate that by the week of June 23rd to 27th, a shocking revelation will have them rethinking everything, and their reactions will be explosive. Carly, the fighter, will not take this lying down. Expect heated arguments, desperate demands for the truth, and perhaps even a momentary schism between her and Sunny if they disagree on how to approach the problem. Meanwhile, Sunny's impulse will be to retaliate, but with the law on his tail, he may have to tread lightly in this situation. The true question is who is pulling the strings behind this betrayal, and what do they hope to gain? Ava's mystery. What is she really hiding? Ava Jerome is a superb manipulator who always plays the long game. Her recent actions, however, have perplexed even the most seasoned Port Charles locals. Is she setting someone up? Are you protecting someone? Or is she the one being manipulated this time? The spoilers indicate that Ava's story will take a dark turn in the coming weeks, with a secret so explosive that it might destroy more than just her reputation. Fans have theorized that her mystery could involve her daughter, Avery, or her tangled relationship with Nicholas Cassadine. Could she be working behind the scenes to restore her authority in Port Charles, or is she being blackmailed into risky behavior? One thing is certain. Ava never does anything without a cause, and when the truth is revealed it will send shockwaves across the town. Jason's interference. Hero or liability? Jason Morgan has always been the man who solves things, often via brutal force and unshakable loyalty. However, his most recent intervention may have more negative consequences than positive. When Jocelyn Jacks chooses to go undercover to expose Professor Dalton's research, Jason's protective instincts take over. The spoilers suggest that he may break her cover, placing her in much greater peril than previously. Joss, who is determined to prove herself, will not like Jason's interfering. This might turn into a heated argument, with Drew caught in the middle. Will Jason's actions unintentionally place Joss in a hazardous situation? And if Emma Drake's daring attempt to seduce Professor Dalton goes wrong, will Jason be compelled to clean up the mess? His involvement may either save the day, or make matters worse. Professor Dalton's dark secrets. Joss and Emma in peril. Professor Dalton's lab has always been cloaked in mystery, but the week of June 23rd to 27th could finally reveal what he's been working on. Jocelyn, the investigative journalist in training, takes it upon herself to delve deeper, but playing detective in Port Charles never goes well. Her fishing expedition could turn into something considerably more terrible than she expected. Meanwhile, Emma Drake, driven by jealousy and impulsivity, attempts to seduce Dalton in order to obtain answers. This is a tragedy waiting to happen. Dalton is not a man to be taken lightly, and if he discovers Emma's true intentions, she could face terrible consequences. Will Jason's intervention jeopardize Joss's mission? Will Emma's risky scheme fail spectacularly? What precisely is Dalton hiding? Illegal experiments, hazardous narcotics, or something even more horrifying? Ada Turner's relentless pursuit. Will she flirt to win? Ada Turner is determined to take down Sunny, and she isn't afraid to use unconventional measures to do so. According to the spoilers, if legal pressure is insufficient, she may resort to some highly personal strategies. Could that imply a covert flirtation with Sunny? The chemistry between them is evident, and fans have already sensed the intense tension. How will Sunny react if Turner tries to influence him with charm rather than legal force? Sunny is not a fool. He recognizes when he is being played. But if he goes along with it, may this turn into a hazardous game of seduction and betrayal? How will Carly react if she learns of this? The potential for explosive encounters is extremely high. Final thoughts: Port Charles prepares for chaos. The next 3 weeks of General Hospital will be packed with shocking twists, deadly schemes, and dramatic confrontations. From Sunny and Carly's world being shaken by betrayal to Ava's hidden moves, Jason's dangerous intervention, and the deadly game emerging around Professor Dalton, no one is safe. Will Joss and Emma's investigations put them in fatal danger? Will Ada Turner's pursuit of Sunny exceed professional boundaries? And who will be standing when the dust settles? One thing is certain. Port Charles is poised to erupt, and fans will not want to miss a single moment of the action. Sunny Corinthos and Carly Spencer have weathered many storms together, but the one rising on the horizon may be the most catastrophic yet. The cornerstone of their relationship, based on years of mutual trust and survival, is about to be tested in ways that will make both of them doubt everything they thought they knew about each other and their close group. Rumors circulate in Port Charles about a treachery so fundamental that it threatens to destabilize the Corinthos kingdom from within. The teasers indicate that this isn't simply another business opponent making moves. It's someone close, trusted, and potentially even family. The week of June 23rd to 27th promises a revelation that will leave both Sunny and Carly stunned, their faces etched with the incredulity that only comes from being stabbed in the back by someone you never suspected. Carly's response will be characteristically fiery. She is known for her lioness-like protection of her family and empire, and she will not take this treachery lightly. Expect heated confrontations, doors slamming hard enough to shake the Corinthos mansion's foundations, and perhaps even a momentary schism between her and Sunny as they differ on how to handle the matter. There's a scene hinted in which Carly, eyes flaming with rage and hurt, demands answers from someone viewers would never expect her to distrust. A moment that will have fans rewinding to catch every detail of the actors' performances. Meanwhile, Sunny will be resisting his innate tendencies. The mob kingpin is accustomed to responding to threats with quick, decisive action, but with Ada Turner breathing down his neck, he'll have to show unusual caution. Look for small cues in Maurice Benard's acting: the clenched jaw, the too calm voice, the way he grips his coffee cup just a bit too hard, all of which indicate that beneath the collected facade, Sunny is a volcano waiting to erupt. Ava Jerome has always been Port Charles's most intriguing wild card, capable of playing both victim and villain depending on the situation. Her recent unusual behavior has everyone guessing. Is she planning an elaborate scheme? Or is she caught in someone else's web? The spoilers indicate that Ava's story will take a dark turn in the coming weeks, with a secret so explosive that it might destroy more than just her reputation. Some plausible theories are spreading among fans. The Avery angle. Could Ava's kid be in danger, causing her to take desperate measures? Recent episodes have contained subtle foreshadowing about Avery's safety, which may be headed somewhere ominous. The Nicholas connection. With the Cassadine heir's location unknown, is Ava connected in his disappearance or possible return? Their tangled background turns this into a powder keg waiting to explode. The Mason factor. Could the mystery newcomer who has been lurking around town be blackmailing Ava with a horrible secret from her past? What makes Ava's tale so captivating is how Laura Wright and Maura West portray these situations. Two great performers trading verbal jabs packed with secret meanings, their eyes betraying more than their words ever could. The spoilers point to a clash between them that will become instant classic General Hospital history. Jason Morgan has spent decades serving as Port Charles's silent protector, the fixer who cleans up mistakes before most people are aware of them. But his latest involvement may cause more issues than it solves. When Jocelyn Jacks chooses to go undercover to investigate Professor Dalton's questionable experiments, she demonstrates the reckless fearlessness that would make her parents both proud and horrified. Joss, embodying Carly's tenacity and Jax's curiosity, dives headfirst into the research with admirable but dangerous zeal. The spoilers hint that just when she is about to reveal something vital, Jason's involvement could blow her secret spectacularly.